we may be in for a treat when it comes to the successor to the S24 Ultra. The S25 Ultra might be here earlier than we expected. So there's a leaked document that came out from a survey somewhere that mentioned a January 5th date. And there is a little bit of credibility to it. Now, we all know leaks and rumors and all that stuff always come out. We know it's going to come out in January sometime. So whether it's January 5th, whether it's like the 18th or whatever, is slightly immaterial. But it might be early, and that would be really cool, and that would be kind of maybe on pace with the trend of what's happening with these other phones, and we might see an earlier release with the OnePlus phone. We saw a very early release with the Pixel phone, so it's funny how these companies move their timelines around to try and be more advantageous. But what happens the first week of January that's so special? CES. So CES officially starts on the 7th. That's the show floor days. The media days are actually before that, and Sunday, the 5th of January, just happens to be, I believe, the first media day whenever it comes to CES. I'll be there. I go out there every year, and during those media days is when these companies have their big announcements, their big keynote things. So maybe Samsung is trying to take advantage of all the media, all the publicity, all the people that are already going to be there, and use CES as a launch platform for the new phones, and that would be a big deal. It would kind of steal the show from a lot of other stuff, and it would give them an opportunity for, one, all the people to be there already, and then other people who are at the show to be able to see it, plus all the free publicity and stuff. It would be pretty cool. And I'm interested to see what the successor to the S24 Ultra looks like. I mean, I know it's going to be mostly the same, but it's going to have the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. And I do have some information that I can talk about here because I have a phone that has the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor that I can't talk about yet. But based off of my usage so far, it's pretty impressive. So I can't wait to see what basically combining a Snapdragon 8 Elite processor with all the fancy stuff in the S24 Ultra combined will give us the S25 Ultra and plus the other S25 phones. And it looks like, cross our fingers, it looks like Samsung might be putting the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor in all of their S25 series phones. So that means S25, S25 Plus, S25 Ultra, even globally. So it should be like it was with the S23 where it was Snapdragon for everyone. Hopefully this is how it works out because really there's nothing in the Exynos or the MediaTek Pocketbook that compares directly with the Snapdragon 8 Elite. It's basically like the best phone chip you can get on the planet right now. And the fact that phones are starting to incorporate that into their hardware, it's going to be big. So you can't really have the S25 Ultra have the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor and then be like, yeah, we're just going to give you all the Exynos, 2500 or whatever in the world it is for people internationally. I don't think that would sit very well, but I'm interested to see if this actually happens. Who knows if it does? I mean, it could just be speculation. It could be coincidence. It could be a lot of things. But based off of what, like, it kind of lines up a little bit. It either lines up conveniently or it lines up and somebody just, fabricated something. So who knows? But if it comes out on January 5th, that does line up with the media days for CES. And I went to CES Samsung keynotes last year. And they're like, here's our new TV, here's our new this, here's our new that. And it's always one of the bigger keynote presentations that they have. Because the way CES works, it's not open to the public. Like the show floor is not open to the public. You have to be industry, you have to be press, you have to be media. And then you can check out the cool stuff. But before they open up all the big convention space show floor, for 2 days before that happens, they have what's called press days. So like LG will have a big keynote. They'll unveil their new stuff. Like TCL will always have a big one to show off their new TVs. Samsung will have one showing off their new cool stuff. And it's been a really long time since we've really seen any sort of a phone, or at least a major phone, that was announced or broadcast at CES. So it would be really interesting to see if Samsung actually does this, but it makes a lot of sense. Like, if you're already in the third week of January announcing your phone, why not bump it up 2 weeks, use CES, and then use that big platform? They want to make as big of a splash as possible, and that, to me, is just a slam dunk from a media perspective. Like, if I were sitting around planning an event, and I'm like, all right, I got to put all this money and energy into going to CES already, why don't we just use that? I mean, that does make a lot of sense. So, who knows? We'll see what happens, but I'm excited about it. Of course, the Samsung phones, they're always... It's amazing to me how Samsung puts a phone out basically the first month of the year, and then other phones are still using it as a benchmark standard to try and catch up to for the whole year. Like, we evaluate every phone that comes out throughout the year based off of Samsung, and they come out so early. And then Samsung still has a phone that is a massive flagship that's fantastic, and then it competes for like phone of the year. It's not like it comes out in October, you know, it's not like it's a mid-season trade and it gives you a little bit of boost on the back end. No, these phones come out very early. They're always pretty much the first major ones that come out that people really recognize, at least here in the States. And then bam, you know, it's a conversation piece throughout the whole year. And Samsung's done a really good job with this one. You know, the titanium is cool. The Snapdragon 8 Generation 3 is cool. The anti-reflective screen is cool, and the brighter screen. There's a lot of stuff they did with this phone that they improved over last year's phone, the S23 Ultra. And of course, you still got the S Pen, you still got DeX, you got all the other stuff. You got the 7 years of support. We're almost in the 6-year territory now. And one other reason, and I will be happy if it gets here early, we're waiting on One UI 7, we're waiting on Android 15, and yeah, it's going to launch with the S25. Samsung's already said that. So it gives me a lot better feeling if they're going to launch the first week of January, and then we can get the new stuff. Because as is, you know, OnePlus has already put out Android 15 for their OnePlus 12, and I believe the OnePlus Open, OnePlus 12R, and then Google's already put out Android 15 for their like last 3-4 generations of phones. So Samsung is kind of sitting around waiting in the lurches and not really having anything to add to this fire, this conversation about Android 15. So it'll be nice to get the new stuff. Of course, that's something we'll get on the S24, S23, a couple other generations of phones, but it'll be nice. I'm interested to see One UI 7, and I'm interested to see if this does actually happen. Like, it seems plausible enough for me to believe that it might happen. And the cool thing is I'll be there, so I'll get to see it in person, which I haven't been to a Samsung keynote since the S20, I think it was the S23 Ultra. I think I got invited, and well, they said I could come, and I bought myself a ticket in a hotel room, and I went out to San Francisco to the event, and it was pretty cool. Like, Samsung puts on a really good event. So if I'm there and if I get invited to this one, maybe we'll see. I was actually encouraged because they did reach out to me recently to talk to me about some things. So maybe they'll invite me again. If so, then, you know, I'll be there and I'll cover it and I'll check it out. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for now. I just wanted to let you guys and gals know the latest and greatest on what I heard and saw with it, and my thoughts regarding whether it's actually realistic, whether I think it'll happen or not. And just, I guess we need to take a wait and see approach. But we don't have to wait and see very long because it's already halfway through November, right? Crazy, it's halfway through November. We got December, and then bam, it's already the new year, new phones, all that crazy stuff. So exciting times, and well, we'll be here for it, right? So that's all I've got. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, concerns, complaints, all that stuff, of course, please go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.